Hello, dear fiends of the den. I am that Rose Noir back in the den, back on the mic here in the Dark Entertainment Network to talk a little bit more about the destruction of the historic East Wing of the White House and why the gray area is literally just Donald Trump's, I guess, motto: better to ask for forgiveness than permission, but he doesn't care about forgiveness either. Let's talk about who did what to the White House and when. So, as we know, Trump tore down the East Wing of the White House. He did not preserve anything, it was standing as is, ready for use until these demolition people showed up. And once this is all said and done, the people who demolished the White House should absolutely be arrested for destroying federal property. So let's check out some comments here on one of my shorts. I can't remember which one it is, but I'm talking about, Prelude to American History, the haunted White House. I'm talking about all of the things that happened. So from watcher and subscriber Philip Palin 3259, and I do thank you for these comments because this is the kind of discussion that I want to have here in the den. No holds barred. Like, let's go at it like we used to, Gen X style. I'm good with it. So he writes, but when Obama did basically the same thing, it was okay. What about the swimming pool that was installed in 1933? What about the bowling alley installed in 1947 or the other swimming pool installed in 1975? I don't think it's about the White House at all. I think you have Trump derangement syndrome and you should probably get some help for that. I love these comments. Oh my gosh. So anyway, let's first talk about what Obama did, or actually didn't do. Here it is, the infamous basketball court. So, this is what Obama added to the White House. Now, as you can see, it is clearly a mobile hoop, and it was just put in a small corner of the tennis court with some removable tape around it to give him the 3-point shots and all of that stuff. But the tennis court was still left also as a usable tennis court. So there were a lot of uses for this, and there was no demolition, there was no congressional approval. There, you can clearly see that that's what like parents buy for their kid when they're interested in basketball for like a season or two, and they're not gonna, spend all of that money to put in a giant hoop that's, regular or whatever it is, whatever size it is, right? NBA size. I mean, this has the White House logo on it. He's clearly going for the 3-point shot or whatever. There he is, all happy about it. So, how much did Obama's basketball court cost? $7,000 to $10,000 conversion in hoops and lines, and then between 10,500 to 22,000 to convert it back with the resurfacing. So that's not millions of dollars like Trump is spending on golf every weekend or every day now while the government is shut down. And it's also not $172 million spent on jets for Kristi Noem or a $40 billion bailout to Argentina. And let's talk about your next comment. And I just want you to know, I'm not angry at you with your comments. You're the exact people I want to speak to, the people that believe in something called Trump derangement syndrome. But you guys, I'm not the one slathered in head to toe in Trump gear. And I would not have bought a flag that said Biden or Obama or Clinton or Bush or Reagan or any of them. Not a t-shirt, not a hat, nothing. I only feel that politicians earn my vote. They don't even deserve it. They earn it. And that's all they're going to get from me. I tried donating here and there to the DNC in the past. I don't donate anymore because all you get is my vote if I feel you have earned it. So let's talk about these extremely gray areas that you're talking about with knocking down the historic East Wing of the White House. So it says congressional approval is required for federal funding for renovations. However, this is being fully funded through donations. But also, the National Historic Preservation Act 107 exempts the East Wing and the West Wing, thereby allowing them to be renovated. And while I think that plans should have been submitted, the only thing that sets this apart is it's not being funded by the taxpayers, which also makes it incredibly dangerous. And the reason that this is the people's house is it's because it is funded by the taxpayers. Trump could have put his ballroom at Mar-a-Lago, funded with his private donors. He chose a federal building where he is only a resident for 4 years because his term will be up, even though he is talking about somehow staying in place and staying past his term in 2028. And then you said that you're not part of a cult because you question at times and challenge what our party and our president are doing on a regular basis. But that I don't see. I see most of you always, always siding with what Trump is doing, saying that these are gray areas. And you're saying that this is something the other side hasn't done or been able to do for a very long time. Now, you also said, thank you for allowing us to actually have this discussion. Again, this is the discussion that I want absolutely. I will not shut off comments and I will not block people, as you're saying, without discussion or debate. I want discussion and I want debate. And I don't want you to agree with me all the time. That's crazy. No one should agree with anyone 100% of the time. One of the best mayors of New York City, Mayor Ed Koch, said, if you agree with me on 12 out of 12 issues, you're insane. Agree with me on 9 out of 12 issues, and then let's debate. Because he knew that you should not blindly follow a politician. So I said that it's not a gray area at all. And I said Democrats always hold their own responsible. Al Franken, Andrew Cuomo, and Joe Biden, after the debate, backed out of the election. Now, Andrew Cuomo is back pushing it to win the mayor of New York City, which I think is very odd because honestly, why are you dropping down to mayor when you were governor? And his responses to things have just been incredibly outdated and odd. And after he had all of those issues with the women, it's just a strange way to want to come back and not have it humble you. And as a New Yorker who has been on the subway in the mid to late 90s alone when no train schedule was posted and you would wait over an hour sometimes after midnight for a train, I can tell you that the guardian angels used to stand on those platforms in the 90s and help make me feel very safe. I don't know what's going to happen. I believe Mamdani is going to win, and I believe that he is better for the city than anyone else because he's more progressive, and that's what New York City needs: affordability and progression in the ways that he's doing it. Again, please feel free to disagree. I have no hate for Curtis Sliwa. I actually think he's a great New Yorker and I know he loves the city. I'm just giving you what I think is going to happen as someone who was raised in Lower Westchester, right outside of the boroughs. I do like to keep my shows short and sweet. So I just want to talk about these gray areas that you did mention of the East Wing demolition. So there's the NCPC approval loophole. The National Capital Planning Commission typically reviews federal construction projects, but it does not require approval for changes to the White House himself. So Donald Trump exploited this gap to bypass formal review. And then there's also historic preservation oversight. The White House is a historic national landmark, yet no binding laws prevents a sitting president from altering it. Preservation groups can protest, but they lack any enforcement power. Yet another way Trump just sidestepped. And yeah, you can argue that he didn't have the right, but honestly, did you want to see the East Wing demolished for a 90,000 square foot ballroom none of us will ever step foot in because it is privately funded? So it sidesteps federal budgetary scrutiny and, of course, raises concerns about transparency and donor influence. And then there is presidential authority versus public ownership. So it's also a residence and a symbol of democracy, as well as the resident for the current president, whether that's 4 or 8 years. So Trump's unilateral decision to demolish part of it tests the limits of executive discretion over a publicly owned historic site. And then, of course, the government shutdown timing. The demolition begins during a shutdown when people are lining up for food banks and federal employees are going without pay. But somehow we're paying ICE, and then the military is now privately funded. Does that mean that someone owns our military? And what about the fact that there is asbestos that's probably in those walls that was just released not only into the White House air ducts, but into the air? What about the hantavirus from all of the mouse and rat droppings that have been in there since it was built? Or the cockroaches we know live in those walls because they live in all old walls. It's just a big health hazard. Not to mention, Donald Trump spent his life building. He should know every building code and law to go by. That's why he knew what to sidestep. So I'm going to get into more on another episode tomorrow. Please, if you do enjoy this type of content, like, comment, share, subscribe, and disagree with me, please. It's good for the soul to disagree with someone and to learn something new, because you could teach me, I could teach you, whatever. Let's do this. Thank you for joining me here in the den, because the Dark Entertainment Network is where all the dark secrets come out. And that's why I've been demonetized. Check out my Epstein conspiracy playlist as well as the royal tea. Also, check out this next clip to see what you can do because I've been demonetized. P.S. I was a registered Republican from 1994 to 2015 when Trump came in and he did not align with my values. I'm not saying any party aligns with my values fully, but I did not recognize the Republican Party as of 2015. And the only thing I recognized about the Democratic Party is that they keep trying politics as usual, and that's not what's working anymore. So everybody needs to wake up that it's really not right and left. It's really rich versus poor. And the more we allow the rich to do and to get away with and excuse it, the worse it will be for us in the end. Don't forget, because I bring you the truth, the den has been demonetized, and it's a signal from the shadows. So if you'd like to support the dark entertainment and Rose Noir's investigations, you can do so by tipping the detective. The paypal.me link is in the bio. Again, thank you so much for joining me in the den. If you've got something to say, send me an email at welcometothedenpodcast@gmail.com.